I told you you're only 5 elite tips away from becoming an offensive mastermind in Madden 26 like your favorite pros. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm closing that gap with 5 elite offensive tips that will turn you from Joe to pro overnight here in Madden 26. From a way to make your passing game unstoppable to the best money plays here in the game that you don't want to miss out on. You don't want to skip out on anything I have for you today, so make sure you watch until the end, and let's jump right into it. Alright, first I want to break down 2 broken money plays here that are actually only in a specific playbook. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so our first play here is going to be motion RPO read flat. Now, these 2 plays that I'm talking about in this part of the video are actually only going to be found in the Giants playbook. All right, so what we're gonna do, this is motion RPO read flat. All right, and so what makes this so good is the ball gets snapped while that receiver is still in motion. All right, and so what I mean by that is he does, like, it's snapped while he's behind the line of scrimmage. Like, he enters the tackle box and boom, the ball snapped. And what makes this so good is because this is unlike any other play in the game. There's like barely any, I don't think I've even seen any, maybe 1 or 2 other ones in the entire game. Every motion play in the game that does this has this specific feature. And what makes it valuable is, especially when they're in man coverage like they were right there, this man coverage defender is going to be trailing Malik Neighbors, whoever's in the spot, every single time because the ball gets snapped before he can even recover. And there's no man switching built into this play. So like they can't just say, hey, the outside corner, I'll take him, you get the, no, there's none of that. And so it doesn't matter. They run man, they run zone, like you're just gonna have plenty of room to be able to get out there on the edge, so long as your receivers out there on the edge and tight end actually block, which I would say they typically do a good job of blocking. You're typically just going to be able to get out into space like that, be able to juke that guy out, then start speed boosting away. And so this is really a play that you can go to time and time again, because if they start overcommitting, right, with their user maybe, then you hand the ball off, right, to Scattaboo, and you just start running. Right, so it's like you have options here with this play. And also, I know that you can keep it with your quarterback as well. So you just read the read key defender, like he crashes down in Scattaboo, and now I can just keep the ball with Jackson Dart right there and turn that into easy yards in the middle. So it's really either or, one or the other, right? Or really you have 3 options here in this play, but I would say the most viable option for you is typically just going to be throwing that pass out there, because it's honestly a glitched motion play that's going to be able to reap a lot of benefits for you. But not only is it that play here, the second play actually kind of plays off of it, right? So this is going to be the counter play. When they start to pick up on that, now you're actually going to drop back pass, okay? So it's going to actually be the same motion, but we're actually passing the ball now. So what I would do, I'm going to put my tight end on a post route. I'm going to stem his post all the way down, just like this. I'll put Y on a shriek. I'll put B on a curl and RB on an in route like this. All right, so now this is what the play is going to look like. So again, even when they, like, you see how right here they're in match coverage and they still got very confused because of that motion. That motion is going to create a lot of confusion. But even when they run, actually they're going to be in 3. Actually, well, yeah, we'll just put them in. Even when they run man coverage, right, boom, we call the same exact play, you're going to notice how this route is still, like, it's still going to be glitched. Like, that man's still going to be trailing him. So it's like you don't even necessarily have to call the RPO all the time. This play could actually be your man beating play. And you could maybe save the RPO for a critical situation in the game or down in the red zone. But when you start the game with that RPO, then you add this to it. It's like if they don't have flats on the field, right, then you just spin that guy out speed boost, and you're going to be able to turn that into a huge gain down the field. So you can always turn, 2 or 3 yard passes into huge gains. But then also the stem down post route, you're going to get their user to jump out here to Neighbors, right, and then you're just going to be able to throw this short post over the top to Johnson. So boom, you're just going to see how he's going to run there, and hopefully you wouldn't throw the ball to the other team. I will say that zone did kind of play out of his mind there, but you're going to see how that short post is going to be just wide open right there in the middle of the field. Especially, I mean, you do have to read their user. I'm going to do that, 2 plays ago, didn't read their user. But this short post route to this receiver is going to do a great job against zone coverage, like you're going to be able to see right here. And it's going to do a great job of just getting open right there on the sideline for a huge gain. So really gun tight open, utilizing the RPO first, and then using this play as kind of the counter counter to it, which is going to open up the rest of the game for you, just like this. So again, tight open, 2 really good glitch plays, only found actually here in the Giants playbook. All right, that next offensive trick that all the top players have mastered is actually pocket presence. You can't drift too far back in the pocket, and too many players that I coach have this problem, and it's really bad for them. Let me show you the best way to fix it. All right, so this is going to be a tip that doesn't matter the play, the playbook, the formation, how good you are at the game, you need to be mastering pocket presence, all right? It doesn't matter if this is your first day playing Madden, this is one of the first things that you need to pick up on an offense, if not the first, when you're passing the ball. So if you take the snap and drift too far back, you see how X was wide open? Well, now when I go to throw it, it's gonna be a red pass and it's gonna be thrown out of bounds simply because I just drifted too far back in the pocket. You notice how Malik Neighbors cooks. Boom, easy completion. We might even score on this play if 17 holds his block. But instead, I drift too far back in the pocket, completely miss my read, and then when I go to throw it, not only is he covered, but then Dart just throws the ball out of bounds because there's nowhere for him to throw the ball. Another example is, right, they're going to, let's just have them be in cover 4, right? And so cover 4, this corner out is going to be wide open on the sideline. But instead, when we take the snap, because we're drifting too far back, now when I go to throw it, it's just sailed out of bounds. Again, that guy's wide open. And again, too many of you guys are doing that. You're just drifting too far back. Or what you're doing is you're drifting too far in one direction. So you're just stepping too far here because you're trying to basically move towards your target when that's not necessary in this game. Like, let's just say you were trying to throw this corner out to A, right? Or throw your flat route to RB. Too many of you guys are doing this. You see how A is wide open, but because you're stepping towards your target, you're also moving towards, out of the pocket and moving towards the defensive lineman. So if you wanted to do what I was just trying to do right there, step towards your target, basically, you need to step up in towards your target, right? Step up in the pocket, cancel your drop back, step up, and then move towards your target, right? Towards that A receiver, right? So really what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take the snap by pressing A on Xbox, X on PlayStation, and then you're gonna baby tap the left stick up. So boom, take it, flick the left stick up. You see how they're blitzing us right there? And that's another reason why pocket presence is so important, because if they blitz you, right? We're gonna have them blitz. Boom. If they blitz you and you're drifting too far back, now your sacks, now that's a 15-yard sack. This drive's probably over now, simply because you've lost too many yards, right? Versus if they blitz me once again, and let's just say I have no one open. So I have no choice but to eat a sack. Now, that's about a 4-yard sack, right there. Where you would like to only be 1 or 2 yards, but a 4-yard sack's fine too, because it's 2nd and 14, you still have a chance to, progress down the field on the next 3 plays or whatever it is. So it's gonna make your sacks a lot better as well, because it's gonna be less yards. So really, you're trying to cancel your drop back, step up in the pocket for not only when they blitz you, but you're also trying to make your read progressions easier so that the ball's not in the air as long and you're better able to find your guys open down the field. And so again, this can be easier said than done for a lot of people, but really the best drill that you're gonna do here to make it basically muscle memory is by putting the ball at the 1-yard line just like this and canceling your drop back. So again, boom, you're gonna take the snap. If you drift too far back like I do right there, you're stepping out of the back of the end zone for a safety. So that's where it's you're gonna build that muscle memory of, okay, I know I have to step up. Also, sending 5 out will help you too, because you're gonna feel the pressure immediately, pretty often. And so you can really, it'll really be great for you to just get rid of the ball, cancel your drop back, go through that read progression and find your guys open so that you're not drifting too far back in the pocket, taking bad sacks, and then also missing receivers when they actually are open. So yeah, put the ball at the 1-yard line, work on your pocket presence, and you're gonna be able to reap the benefits in the passing game. All right, so if you found those first 2 offensive tips helpful here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want all 5 of these offensive tips in written form to save on your phone and always reference them during gameplay, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can join Madden University, where your first month of all my written breakdowns for the month of May, June, and beyond are only going to be $1. It's really the best way to transform your understanding of this game and really take your offense from beginner to a pro level really quickly, because you can save everything I have on your phone and always reference it. But let's jump right back into the video. All right, because next I want to break down a pro passing tip that's going to transform your passing offense, and it's one that you see all your top pro players do, but you might not know why. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so that pro trick that I'm talking about here is actually going to be flipping your play, all right? And so really what this does is they're going to be, especially when they're in nickel defenses, anything actually besides dime or dollar, this is going to be super effective, because when you flip your play, you're changing the passing strength. And so really that means that they're going to have to flip their play manually, because they're in man coverage, auto flip defensive play will help them out. But when you flip your play, you're again changing the passing strength. And especially if they run like a nickel defense, like they're going to have to, like, especially if they're in zone, like I'm going to put them in nickel right here. When they run zone coverage out of nickel, they're going to have to realign with you, because you notice how right now the slot corner is on the opposite side of where he needs to be. You see how he's playing a zone from across the field? That's because you flip your play, and that's going to happen very often when you flip your play. So if you literally just take the snap, you can just throw this in the middle, because the slot corner that was supposed to be there in the vert hook is coming from across the field. That's going to happen all the time when you flip your play and they're in zone. So you're going to see how they're in zone. I'm going to flip my play. Sometimes if he flips automatically, right? So I don't have my controller in defense, so that was an auto flip. But the problem, again, this guy's playing a zone across the field, right? So you're basically going to make it a nightmare for them, because again, all you have to do is take the snap, throw an out route. This is an easy completion. That defender 21 who was in an outside quarter, he wasn't in a flat zone. And so essentially, you're just going to be making life for them miserable in defense, because they're going to have to flip constantly with you, right? Every time you flip. So again, we come out with our bunch on the wide side of the field. We flip the short side bunch. Again, sometimes he follows, sometimes he doesn't. But again, when he doesn't, like imagine you called spacing switch, where now you have spacing switch. There's no one in the flat to defend this glitchy running back table route. And now look how many yards we have right out there, simply because we flipped our play, misaligned their defense, and we're going to be able to turn it into easy yards. Really what they're going to have to do is, when you flip your play, they're going to have to flip with you. So they're going to have to press X and then right trigger in order to flip with you, so that now their defense is properly aligned. The problem for them though is if they don't recognize it immediately, right, it's going to be like impossible for them to be able to get all their adjustments off. So, right, we just take a snap, we throw something, whatever. I'm going to show you again right here where it's like they're going to call whatever. They can call whatever zone defense they want to call. You flip your play, and if they don't flip immediately, like, okay, now they recognize you flipped. Well, now they try to flip with you, and now it's too late, right? Because if you're like playing really quick, now you're just going to be able to find someone open down the field just for an easy completion, just like that. So really, being able to flip your play is the best from bunch formations, honestly, or bunch and tight formations. If you're in like triple X nasty, flipping is valuable too. I mean, actually it's good at every formation when they're in nickel, but it's best when you're in a bunch formation, because you're able to just throw off their alignment, especially if they don't just want to flip with you. And again, even if they auto flip, it just, again, completely messes up their defense. There's a lot of times the flat zone defender is going to just be on the wrong side, and you're just going to have easy yards out here because this guy just simply doesn't know what he's doing. So start running bunch of tight formations, flipping your play really for no reason. Like, you could just come out, you know you're going to come out in short side bunch, you know you're going to run short side bunch, but you come out with wide side bunch knowing you're going to flip the play to misalign their defense, and it's going to create a huge headache for them. But that's why all the top players do that. All right, before I jump into those final two offensive tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss here in Madden 26, I wanted to remind you to go down below and hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one right now breaking down Madden 26 tips and tricks to help you guys get better every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But let's jump into those final two tips, because next I want to break down the best type of run plays in this game. In order to, score points consistently, you're going to have to maintain good balance and offense, and calling good run plays is really the foundation of that. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so these good type of run plays are duo handoffs. All right, they're called like duo handoff or like 0-1 trap type of handoffs. The reason why these are good, especially not necessarily 0-1 trap, but specifically duo, is because depending on the look that the defense gives you, especially if it's a 4-down lineman look, right, you're gonna be able to double team. Like the offensive line's gonna be able to double team the center, and so that's gonna open up a lane for you. Now, a couple of times here they've been in like 5 or 60 lineman looks, and so you can't double team, but you still see how right there that guy was able to come in free, and I still have a lane to get away from him. That's where the speed boost becomes really valuable to help you out in the running game. But you're also gonna see like right here, this is a good example where we're gonna get up here and double team this defender, Robertson Harris, right? We're gonna be able to double team him because that's the kind of design of this play, which gives us the room to kind of follow that block. Now, sometimes they double team the lanes towards the right, sometimes it's towards the left. You're gonna notice right here where kind of I didn't have anywhere to run. Sometimes the linebackers shoot through, but being able to double team the nose tackle is what's gonna help you out and break these big runs because it clears the way for you to be able to find space down the field. So again, we continue to go through this and you're just trying to get that double team. Now, if you have to think about it. If they have 5 or 6 D linemen lined up over you, there's gonna be no way for your line to be able to double team. But if they can double team, that's really going to be your best friend because it's going to allow you to get downhill and get to the second level of the defense faster, which is what's going to, open up those big runs down the field. So we go through this. I mean, you're seeing this formation. You're just going to see it right there, how they rip off, a big lane for us to just run through. And don't get it mistaken. It's the running game. If you guys have seen my channel, you guys have bought my ebooks, right? You know that we talk a lot about passes and RPOs. But you certainly need to be running the ball in order to, maintain good balance. If you come into concept here, you come into run, right? You can come into trap, and you're just gonna, or actually, we'll see. Do we have? I guess duo isn't a type of run, but we're just gonna come right back into trap because honestly, it's very similar. The difference between the 0-1 trap though is what's gonna happen is it's a pulling guard. So a pulling guard is who's going to try to open up the lane for you, which I would say more bad things can happen when you have a pulling guard. It can be helpful, like right there, he completely clears the way for us. We're going to be able to speed boost and rip off this big run for a touchdown, right? Because our pulling guard cleared the way, we followed his block, and we were able to score. But like I said, the reality is, it's good. Like, it's more high risk, high reward, I would say, than a duo run and 0-1 trap is. It's similar, but there's more risk to it because if you think about it, if 76 goes out here to block, but then no one blocks Robertson Harris, like right here, kind of, where he was able to kind of come in free a little bit. Now I ran away from him, but that's what I'm talking about, where if he's not pulling, that's his assignment. But since he is pulling, the offensive line might have a chance to kind of whiff on that block. But again, he is clearing the way for a guy on the other side. So really, when you're calling these 0-1 trap runs, you really just want to make sure that you're trying to follow that pulling guard wherever he's going. That's where you want to go because he's kind of opening up the room for you. Right here, boom, we're going to try to hit that, and we're able to rip off a big gain. So like I said, duo or 0-1 trap, very similar runs, a little bit different. Really just trying to follow your blocks because you're going to be able to get a good double team on that nose tackle, and then making sure you're speed boosting to get to your spot so that you can pick up more yards down the field. All right, and that fifth and final offensive tip that I want to break down here in this video is going to be a way that you can stop getting sacked all the time. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so that way that you're going to stop getting sacked every time is by utilizing play action based plays, all right? Because what you're going to notice right here is they're going to be in single mug, right? There's many other stunts in this game. This just happens to be probably the easiest one to use, but we're going to spread our defensive line pass commit. And so what you're really going to see right here is we're going to be in just regular pass blocking, regular base protection, and they're just going to walk on our backfield. Like Brian Burns loops all the way around to hit us. Kayvon Thibodeau was coming in free right behind him. So when you use the standard pass protection, right, base protection, and they call a stunt like this from like single mug, right, and you're just in a regular play, regular pass protection, you're gonna constantly just get sacked. It's also other like blitzes too. They can overload blitz you a lot easier, right, when you're in standard pass protection, and it's just going to be easy for them. But instead, what you can do is start utilizing play action based plays. One of my favorites, obviously, from my Jaguars offensive ebook at my website here is going to be PA counter go, right? Because what you're going to notice is when we take this snap, you see how there's no stunt now? Like, it's perfect pass protection. Like, I have all day to just, you know, take a nap in the pocket. Like, it's just easy. I have all day to throw. Simply because I called play action. They did the same thing, right? They spread their defensive line. They pass commit. You can see this is going to be the same custom stunt. But notice how very rarely are these guys still going to loop. You notice how they don't loop at all. And so, yes, this stunt is still going to be good for them because they still collapse the pocket pretty quickly, faster than like a standard pass rush, and they just have good defensive linemen anyway, right? But it's like there's no looping. So again, we go right back to the regular pass play with regular protection, and you just see how, again, spread the defensive line pass commit, where regular pass protection, they just walk in our backfield. Like it's gonna be time and time again, right? It can even work against empty protection, but when you simply start using play action plays, all of their stunts, twists, all this stuff is going to be eliminated. So again, spread the defensive line, pass commit, and what you're just gonna see right here, boom, take it, no loop. It just he's just running down like regular, and so we're able to throw that pass right there and complete it for a huge gain down the field. It's just gonna make your passing offense way better. But what they can do to counter that is they can start pass committing you. So again, RB right stick up on defense, they're gonna start pass committing you, and think about it like this: the pass commit is the counter to the play action plays, and so now they have the advantage again. Right, so now when they call their stunt, they're going to be able to do a better job of actually, you see how on the right side he's still stunted, and he was able to shed really quickly on the left side to go get me down. So really, their counter is going to be pass committing you if they know what they're doing. So if you notice that you're calling play action plays and they're still getting pressure, just start running the ball, because their runs are going to be, their defensive players are just going to be really slow. So pass commit, we're just going to call a regular inside zone run, and you're just going to notice how their safeties, their linebackers, all these guys are going to be very, very slow, and so you're going to have the advantage. But bottom line here, play action just has a huge advantage. Sometimes guys even come in free, like right here. You see how Tavon Thibodeau comes in free, and he goes to get that's Brian Burns, but he goes to get the running back before he gets me. Right, so again, I'm going to shift my line all the way in that direction. I'm going to call my play action play, and he's going to, you see how he, like, we'll look at the replay, but he ran down to get Travis Etienne before he came down to sack the quarterback. So that's another advantage to calling play action based plays. So boom, we're looking at this man right here. He goes to get Etienne because he thinks he has the ball because they're not pass committed, and then he comes and gets me, obviously. But it's like, so really play action is going to help you block stunts, blitzes. It's going to help those guys who come in free. They're going to, just get delayed by a second. And then when they start pass committing you, start handing the ball off. But play action, one of the best ways that's going to help you stop getting sacked all the time. All right, so if you found that breakdown helpful of 5 tips to transform your offense here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this to help you guys get better every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want all 5 of these tips, which were really important here in this video, to save them on your phone and always reference them during gameplay, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join Madden University, where your first month of all my written breakdowns is only going to be $1. It's really a no-brainer and a great way to transform your gameplay and understanding here on offense in Madden 26. But this video was just tips, so if you want an actual offensive scheme that you can take in your next team, check out this video where I break down my Jaguars ebook. I'll see you over there. Peace.